Hey, good morning. How are you? Doing okay?
Yeah, not too bad for an old man, I guess.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. You guys are always my early birds.
Yeah, and everything.
And everything.
Yeah, farmer's minded. Yeah. Meal.
What's up, fellas? Class weekend. Got everything right here.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Sorry, I missed your call, man.
That's okay. That's all right.
What, was you gonna come out to the job or something?
Yeah. Yeah, I was downtown and wanted to swing by and check the job out. And
Yeah, I've had a hell of a couple of weeks, man, so
Yeah, you really?
whenever I can help you whenever now, I mean, but except the 14th, I'm leaving for Pittsburgh for over 10 days, so.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think I got what I needed for the most part. I mean, I was able to hook up with James on his job and
Oh,
go
on
up
30
there.
South?
Yeah, and kind of see that. And,
Did he get to show you the climbing part of that job?
a little bit. I didn't see it in action, but he explained it and showed me the harness. And
Jay might be, that's why he might be going like he might have.
I didn't understand why he had to climb.
You don't want him on that roof?
Right behind you.
It's all about the people that own that building down there.
Really? Huh.
So we gotta deal with stuff like that,
Yeah.
instead of just going through a window and right back up.
Yeah.
There's only a couple jobs that we gotta do that on,
Huh.
and the climbing part of it's more of a, for rescue anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think today I might rely on you guys to talk a little bit about the rescue at some point. But I'm just going to cover some of the basics at the beginning there.
I don't know why he was talking to somebody.
No problem.
I really knew she was knocked out. She said, I was really kind of look like I'm sleeping. I was ready to get out of here. No, I was trying to say, she said I was sleeping. She was sleeping. Oh, Pappy. What's up, man? What's up, Charles? What's up with you?
Back at it.
I didn't know he was back. My daughter's mom, she just picked up, she owns her own cleaning business, she picked up a Newport home, said that she needs to be OSHA certified. She don't know how to pursue it to get it on.
So we could say, like, 10 hours,
She didn't,
first aid CPR.
she didn't say. I'll have to,
Maybe get more detail, what they mean by that. That's a pretty broad statement.
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. There's more than just, there's all kinds of certifications. I'll ask her, I'll call you out, or I'll call her, and once she figures it out.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the good.
Yeah.
You
came with me? I got on layers too.
Oh, you got them out the club?
Go down to the stop sign, turn, right at the stop sign.
Everyone's unique. You can set up like, which one was that one?
What are you doing with that?
You guys need a Bible for. If he got one up, probably just wouldn't.
Yeah. I get myself down now. Bro. Oh, that's something real weird. 366 is over. What is it?
Look at that, I'm trying to see what's wrong with that.
Oh, it's got a hole in it.
That's one detail I was
I put it together last night, I was like, put one hole in it.
If you go try to look like that, it smells.
You can keep that, but I was actually making somebody else.
That's kind of rough. That's so fun.
Well, the sheep is just how you remember when you wrote.
That would be another hazard that we would have for.
That hole right there, my rope.
all over that.
That was not it, that was from somebody else's.
Yeah.
That was a little one.
What the hell is going on? I don't know.
What's coming out?
They were all blue. Oh, yeah.
Man, I was on the 40-story, I was on the 40-story side too. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That seems like that's white.
Hey, we get, the online stuff, keep working out on that. We should have at least 4 down. Off the move. I got one guy that's gonna launch that.
Well, that's what you, but they're all supposed to be here.
Might have.
I got one.
Alright guys, we probably should get started so I don't hold you over. Maybe have a few more coming.
I know at least one that's lost, but still. He's out off 69 somewhere. I'm like, how did you get 69? I gave him the address. Yeah. I don't know.
Alright, well I think we got some people listening and the online should be working today, so they're gonna miss out on some of the visual stuff we got, but they should get the point for the most part. Alright, so fall protection is the topic this month. And I went out and visited one of your job sites and took a few pictures, and I mean, I gotta admit, I'm a safety guy. I've been doing this 17 years. I know the fall protection stuff real well, but I've never rappelled down a building. You know, I don't do what you guys do. So, you know, it's actually it's really cool. I enjoyed seeing you know, being up there and
It's
seeing you guys
easy.
rappel. Yeah. I tell you what, I had a lot of comments because like when I was downstairs, waiting for a phone call back,
Yeah, man, my bad. I couldn't hear you. I was like,
was
what?
that you?
Yeah, I was waiting.
I couldn't
on
understand you. Yeah.
I couldn't hear nothing down
But
there.
people were walking by and they're looking up and they're like, man, you guys need a raise for what you do. And people are looking up going, man, that's crazy. People just think you guys are nuts. But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see what you do. Looks like a lot of fun.
They think we're nuts, but they're quick to complain about their window.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So to start off, we're going to just talk a little bit about falls in general. And here's a fact, is that last year there was 796, actually this is 2014, 796 construction fatalities. and these were from fatal falls. That's not total construction fatalities, that's falls. So 796 people fell to their death, and that's not necessarily fall from the same level, like a slip and fall. This is a fall from an elevated surface. So that's a lot of people. When you think about that, I mean, how many work days are there in a year? Anybody do quick math?
So how many work days in a week?
Yeah, how many work days? No, how many work days in a year?
250.
Yeah.
64.
No.
Minus Christmas.
For some people, yeah, yeah, maybe more, but yeah, 364. But no, you know, 5 work days in a week, 52 weeks a year. A lot of people take a couple weeks off. You're about 250 to 260 work days. So when you divide that number by 250, you're saying that's between 2 and 3 people a day fall to their death in the United States. 2 to 3 people a day. So that's crazy. Third leading cause of fatality in the workplace. The 2 others that are before that are actually driving, number 1, believe it or not. And you'll never guess this one. Anybody, go ahead, just guess. What's the second one?
Customer after boss.
Close. Workplace violence. You believe that? Yeah, workplace violence. Would never guess that. But anyway, falls number 3, 2.5 people a day. And here's kind of part of why. So a lot of people, when you're working at an elevated height, your mind is on the task at hand, right? I mean, no matter really what you're doing, when you're doing the task, when you're performing a task, whether you're washing windows or, you know, who knows what, you're thinking about what you're doing. You're not really focused on the fact that you're up at an elevated surface. And, you know, a lot of us, if you were to start to fall, it would take you a little bit of time for you to actually recognize that you're falling. So there was a study done on this, and they said usually, you know, when you start to fall, it takes you about 1/3 of a second for your mind to click in and realize, hey, I'm falling. Now that sounds real fast. 1/3 of a second is pretty fast, right? But if you are actively falling, in that amount of time, you could be up to 2 foot down already. On top of that, by the time your brain engages your limbs and you start to actually do something about it, that's another 1/3 of a second. So now 2/3 of a second pass by, you could be up to 7 foot down. And by that time, it's too late. So, you know, and as far as the maximum speed goes, if you were to fall, anywhere from, could be 120 to 200 miles an hour. It's going to do some damage on your body. So that's a big reason why, you know, falls lead to so many deaths. Unlike a sprained ankle or something like that where you get a second chance, most of the time you don't get a second chance with a fall.
You hear about the guy that fell 11 stories yesterday and fell into the pool?
No.
Yeah, he fell into the pool, but he didn't get killed or nothing, just broke an arm or something, but it was in like, I think it was he was at a hotel and he was working and he went to scratch his back on the railing and accidentally went over. He wasn't high or nothing. It was on the news yesterday. He was 11 stories and fell into the pool.
Where was this?
It was in Florida.
Florida.
It was on the news 2 or 3 times yesterday.
What was he doing?
He was supposed to have been painting or something,
Oh,
but
okay.
his back was itching. So he went outside to scratch his back on the railing. And when he did, he just accidentally lost his balance and went over, but just good thing he hit the water. But
Yeah.
I guess, but it just broke his arm. So it was on the news 2 or 3 times yesterday.
Wow. Fortunate. Real fortunate.
Story.
Here's a couple examples I'm going to show you. Here's one. And this one kind of just shows you a good example of how, you know, a lot of us, if we were to fall, you know, it takes a while for the mind to engage what's actually happening.
Tragedy struck at a Texas Rangers baseball game, and we must warn you, the pictures are graphic. A fan fell 20 feet to his death while reaching for a ball tossed into the stands by a player. The man caught the ball and lost his balance as another fan tried unsuccessfully to save him. The victim's young son witnessed the whole thing. This is the second fatal fall at a Major League Baseball park this season.
Just horrific.
Very tough to see.
That's awful.
There he is, and you can see he wanted to get the ball. Now he's reaching out. See what I mean? His mind's on the task, right? Once he's already on the way down, then he's realizing I'm in trouble. It's too late at that point. And that one, extremely sad for the fact that, yeah, his son was standing right there, the one in the red shirt. Now here's a different scenario, a little different here. You seen this one? Yeah, this is more of a lesson how other people around you can create fall hazards. Yeah, not expecting that at all. Hope that whoever went down before kept on moving. That would have been two bad injuries there. Okay, so where do falls happen? Here you go. This is a stat that applies to you. Roofs, 37%, right? So, yeah, scaffolding, ladders, other things, loading docks, stationary vehicles, but rooftops is a big one. See this guy's early retirement. Got a little humor there, but yeah. So your common exposures, from what I've seen, rooftops, obviously, right? Rappelling. That's two of you guys at 30 South. I don't know who it was, but and then equipment, right? You guys use aerial lifts. Am I missing anything, or is that mainly what you're dealing with? Ladders. People. What do you mean?
Public and decent.
The public, yeah. So falling objects, maybe hitting people below. Is that what you're talking about? Kind of.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
People are stupid.
Yeah. All right. So ladders, I didn't mention that, but ladders, yeah, that's another fall exposure as well. So when should you wear your fall protection? Before operating an aerial lift, you should wear it inside an aerial lift, right? When 6 foot from a wall that's under 39 inches high. So here's the deal. If we want to talk technically with OSHA, if you have like at 30 South, has everybody been on the 30 South building?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the only one I've seen here, guys. But there is a parapet wall up there, and that wall is pretty high. It's at least 39 inches high. If you have a 39-inch high wall, that serves as a guardrail. So literally, I could be standing there and even up against it, and I'm good. There's no need for me to be tied off because that serves as my fall protection. However, if I had a lower wall, something like you see right here, or no wall, then I have no fall protection.
That right there is what 300 north looks like.
The one you were telling me about? Yeah, just like that. So in those cases, really, when you get 6 foot from that wall, you should already be tied off. I mean, we're talking legal here. You shouldn't even be up towards that edge without being tied off. So those are the times you want to be protected. Now we'll talk about the equipment a little bit. And you know, this is the type of equipment that you guys use. You have, you know, with your fall protection, you obviously have an anchor point, right? Something you're tying to. You got your ropes and lanyards, both. You got your harnesses, you got your posts and chairs. So we'll kind of go through each of those, and we'll talk about anchor points first. An anchor point should be capable of withstanding 5,000 pounds per employee tied to it. So if you have 2 people tied to the same anchor point, that thing should be capable of 10,000 pounds. Okay? Now, how do you eyeball 5,000 pounds? Yeah. I'm kind of giving you the answer right here. So this is a Ford Edge. Okay? It's a Ford Edge. And that is about 5,000 pounds. So mid-size SUV. So if you're looking at something and deciding, should I tie to that thing? Asking yourself, can I hold 2 forward edges on that thing? Right? So it's 5,000 per person tied. Now, from the roof I was on, you guys have these. You guys have manufactured anchor points that are already rated and they've been tested to hold 5,000 pounds. That is a great thing. And talking to you guys, it's my understanding that most of your roofs, if not all of them, have these. Is that correct? A lot of them do. So that's a great thing. There's no guesswork. You know right where you're tying off, and you got plenty of options up there. Equipment. So we want to talk about this too, because this is also an exposure, right? So if you're in an aerial lift, where do you tie off to? And I didn't get to see any of your aerial lifts, so I don't know what design yours is, but in all aerial lifts, there should be an approved anchor point, and it should be labeled. So I don't know if does it look like this, the bottom one? Okay, so yeah, and it should have a label right there. So that's where you want to tie to. You don't want to tie to the guardrail or anything else that's to the point that they've already manufactured, because they tested that point and assured that will hold up. So that's where you want to go. Now, what if you show up on a rooftop and there is none of this?
Tied to a snake pipe.
Tie to one of those?
That's why we keep him on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta give him a kick test.
Yeah.
Back in the days.
That's all we had to tie to
We
was
used to tie
steel
to it.
pipes and stair railers, and I mean you just if you know nothing like they have now, you just read. You know, people say a guy told them he was in a safety meeting, the guy told him he didn't want no old dudes in there because they were stupid. Well, back in the day, that's all we had was steel pipes and weights and sandbags.
Weights, okay.
And 2x4s and stuff like that. We didn't have no. We didn't have none of. We went off on a 2x4 with a hole in the middle of it. Put sandbags on top of it. About 4 or 5 sandbags, and we hung on it.
That's why you ain't right.
And we hung on it. So that was back in the day, though.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's no lie. That's true. That's how we found ways to do things, and that's how we did. But that's back in the day.
Yeah.
That's about 30-some years ago.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you don't have, you know, the manufactured anchor points in your roof, then you got to find something else to tie to. And you just have to make sure it's substantial.
Exactly.
Now, using something like, here's the thing you got to remember though, is going back to this whole thing about this 5,000 pounds. Now, you don't weigh 5,000 pounds. You were blessed. That's all right. Yeah, I agree with that. But so you know, what's up there that's substantial that you could tie to? You said, Jason, that not all roofs have the manufactured anchor point. So what do you tie to if you don't?
Which one's unique? You can use a tagline from, 2 stairwells, maybe grab a whole penthouse, ladders, the vertical ladders that come up the hatch.
Okay.
Tied to those before.
You ever see HVAC units up there like this?
We've tied to those, but don't the anchors, aren't those just like directional flows?
Are they directional what?
Below, they're like pulling out, or they just lifting.
Lifting eyes?
Yeah, those are just basically how the straps are.
Yeah.
That's all they're set up for.
Right, so
Yeah.
you tie that and go off that way, you're not kind of stressing it out. I'd wrap around that whole thing.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where I was going was, anything substantial like that, you were talking about maybe wrap the whole penthouse, something like that. I mean, if you could cable that off, you just got to watch, the shear points on the corners and stuff. But yeah, you want to make sure that you got something substantial. So
I tied to those in a heartbeat.
you tie to what?
I tied to those in a heartbeat, no problem.
It's
Yeah.
almost like tying to a car.
Yeah, I mean, those aren't going anywhere, So something substantial like that, you do not want to tie to these on the right. Right, nothing like that. So, you know, just make sure that that sucker's not, you know, it would hold a forward edge again if you suspended it from it. So these are some other alternative anchorages. These are really more like, you know, things that could create anchor points, things that could create something you could tie to. These are made to actually install on roofs. These top three to the right. This steel is one that you know, you could put through any kind of steel and it creates a point. This is a beam skate on the left, so if you had a steel beam somewhere nearby, you could clamp that around it and it would hold. You could lasso, this one's the bottom, the second to the left. You could lasso that around a beam. So, you know, I don't know if you guys have these, I don't know if they're around.
Beam straps, we got those.
You got beam straps like this. So these are pretty easy to choke. Beams. These are you have these. I mean, with this you're making a permanent hole in something. Yeah. So you obviously wouldn't want to just go drilling in someone's roof or whatever, but these are made out there. You can create anchor points. Do you have these?
We got a couple of them.
You got a couple of these? Have you ever seen these? These are for concrete. So you drill you have like concrete block. You could drill through it, put it through the back, and then it clamps and creates an anchor point. So, you know, they make just about anything for wood, steel, concrete, you name it. They have stuff out there that you can create something to tie to. So, not that that's your primary thing to do, but just know it's a possibility. If you run into a situation where it's like, man, there is nothing to tie to up here that's safe. Nothing. We don't have the lifting eyes. There's no HVAC unit. There's no steel beams. Then, you know, you need to backtrack and probably talk to Scott, is my advice, and try to figure out a way to create something that would work. And that may take talking to the owner and say, hey, look, we got to do something different before we get on your roof.
You know, like back in the day, and they don't use them anymore, they outlaw, we used to have belts. And the belt hooks used to be the side on the building. And what you did, you climb out the window, you hook down, like Jordan McGinnis, the basketball player, father. I've never seen two of them come out, but on him, both of them came out when he hooked up. I've seen one come out because they came on me, but they used to have when you hook on the building and you just lean back on the building and you clean the window. Then we didn't have nothing. We could just jump out the window, be a guy in front of you. He would open the window. You would step out the window. You would turn to the side on the ledge, on your bag, clean the glass, and go back in. And that's what we used to do at 20 stores. They used to call it, and we didn't have no safety.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Guy just holding on to your leg.
Just hold on to the corner of the building, clean the glass, and go back in. And this man is with us. It was true story. They called it sky hooking back then.
They call it what?
Sky hooking.
Sky hooking. Wow. I'm glad times have changed.
Ocean wasn't like it was now. No.
And Jason and James comes off the Apple drilled in the building down in Pittsburgh. Literally Apple, they just drilled it in the brick.
Wow. Yeah. All right, so we'll get in. That's anchor points really, and that's one of the most critical things is your anchor point, making sure it's substantial. But let's switch gears. We're going to talk about ropes and lanyards for a little bit. So your ropes are ANSI approved ropes, right? They aren't just ropes that you buy manila, you know, ropes out of Lowe's. They're actual climbing ropes, which is good. You want to make sure they are. Your lanyards that you hook to the rope, those are also ANSI approved, capable of 5,000 pounds, and you should limit your rope to one, your lanyard to one. I don't see why you guys would ever want to use multiple lanyards or try to connect a lanyard to a lanyard. Doesn't make sense to me, but just know that you can't do that. You can only have about 6 foot of a lanyard. Anybody think of why?
It's like when the shock group is over, can be different.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost have two.
Yeah, so if you, like, look at this picture right here, you see this? You got these guys and, look at this. He's tied and he's got a lanyard to a lanyard to a lanyard. He's got 3 lanyards here.
There's no
So
call,
when he-
double the
That's for
distance.
when
triple
he stands
the
up on that
Oh,
beam.
yeah, triple, yeah.
Yeah. So what'd you say?
That's for when he stands up on the beam, he's got room to walk. That's exactly why he's got that, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has a beam clamp. Beam clamp would be better, yeah, and
No, so
here
when
you
you
go here.
stand up and you've only got, you know,
Yeah.
you can't stand up with one lanyard, can't do it.
With a 6-foot lanyard
No,
and a beam clamp on the top? Yeah, you
No.
could.
You ain't gonna, I'm 6'3", I'd get from behind shoulders.
Yeah.
They, ain't no problem.
Well, here's the deal is, you know, with this many, he's gonna fall,
32 feet before he stops.
yeah, he's gonna fall a long way. And the longer you fall, the more, yep, and the more force you're gonna exert on your body. And that's gonna really do some damage to him. So, yep. So really, you just need one lanyard. I don't see why you guys would ever want to or need to do more than one. The connectors to your ropes should be corrosion resistant, and dual action locks. So I've got 2 connectors right here. And, I'll let you guys look at that one. You guys look at this one and tell me what's wrong.
Rusted.
It's bad.
Okay, so that one is rusting.
Once the lock mechanism, once it's flow.
There you go. So no rust on that one, right? Or a little bit maybe. But yeah, there's no dual action for that, is there?
No.
I mean,
It's
it's
a snap deal.
yeah, you just
Twist
snap it on.
and snap it.
Right. So you could accidentally let that go. So it's gotta have 2 actions. Is that one dual action?
Quick lock.
Is that what dual action? Yep, cause you have to twist it and then pull it, right? So 2 actions. So dual action, can't be like a carabiner like this. Corrosion resistant, no corrosion on it. I would tell you that, you do wanna look at those connectors, okay? I'd inspect them. And I'll tell you, as a safety guy, what's that?
I said, won't be long before the dual action gear needs to be worked out of this space. Everything's going to triple action, lift up, spin it, and then push it.
Yeah, there you go. So I would tell you to inspect these. And I would also tell you to inspect them right when you get them out of the package. And that sounds funny because it's like a brand new, you know, piece of equipment. Why are you inspecting that? Shouldn't have any problems. But as a safety guy, I get a lot of product recalls. And you wanna know something scary? The most product recalls I get is on fault protection. That is a scary thing. But for whatever reason, there's a lot. I mean, seems like every few months there's somebody saying, hey, we need to recall this product because we somehow screwed it up. But there's little things like this. I mean, they'll run it through a machine and it'll forget a rivet. And that, you don't want that. So I would tell you, anytime you get any kind of equipment, brand new even, look at it. Open it up and look at it. Make sure all rivets are there. It's actually gonna function and work properly. And looks good, no twists, bends, burrs, nothing like that. As far as your ropes go, and your lanyards both, you wanna also inspect them, and not only just brand new, but if they're used. So I've got several different examples here. If you would pass that behind me, I'm gonna let those guys look at that. I'm gonna let you 3 guys look at this one. I'll let you 3 guys look at that one. You guys look at this one.
Quick lock.
look at what you got. All right, so we'll start. You guys had the longest, so we'll start back there in the back. What did you find with yours?
Look like it got a little hot.
Okay, so you got a burn mark, right? So burn, and that would be an issue. That would be something. Would you take that out of service?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, you have a burn mark in that. That's gonna affect the integrity. I would definitely take that out of service. You said tape on there. Can you have tape on it? No. Why? That's right, exactly. You can't inspect it, right? You have no idea if there's a cut under there or what. So we're not supposed to tape fall protection. So good. Okay. So you found those two things.
Yeah, this right here is all metal too.
So we got a big burn right here.
Big burn. I moved this up. This right here is wood.
Okay. Good. So you got a wear spot right there. How about the length of the tags? All these should be tagged. Can you read? Can you read anything on that one? Don't know any kind of tag? Can't read it. Okay. So these things will have information on them, lights. There's two real critical things that you're going to have on your fall protection. One is going to be the manufacturer date. The other is going to be the weight rating. So it will tell you what the weight rating is. I don't think anybody in here is approaching even close to 410 pounds. But that's a common weight rating limit. And then they do make some now that are up to 420. That's a big guy to have in the air. But regardless, if you do have a big, large guy, you need to be able to tell what the weight rating is. Also with the date, they don't require this, but they recommend that these be replaced 5 years from the manufacturer's date. Now that isn't a requirement again, because if you bought one today and you sat it on the shelf for 3 years, you really only got 2 years of use out of it before that 5-year mark. Also, some companies may buy it and maybe they use it once a month. That's different, you know. So they don't come out and just say, hey, absolutely in 5 years it's expired. It's still up to you, but the general rule of thumb, what they tell you is if you use that thing every day within the 5-year period, it's probably going to be to the point where you want to consider replacing. So you do need to be able to see those things on your equipment. What did you see over here?
The yellow tags are going on the lanyard and it's got tape on it.
Okay. Did you catch a burn mark? So on this one,
Information tags on that yellow tag.
see sometimes you get just little bitty burn marks or holes in there, but I mean,
It's just like a rubs, they get damaged, you know.
yeah, right,
That's the weight manufacturer down on it,
right.
low capacity.
Yep. Yeah, it will impact its ability to catch it, right? So you got tape on, burn mark on there, all kinds of issues. So all right, so what did you guys find? That thing's
This thing was probably what cows used back in the day.
Gates don't work.
There you go. So look, the hook sticks, right? If that hook sticks, it's no good. All right, and should have been replaced a long time ago. You got severe frays right there.
looking at the brace, and it really don't look like it affects anything, it doesn't look like it's actually attachment, so this is actually used through both ropes.
Probably went back up through there, those will come on, but then,
So it eventually just came out with a spin spot.
yeah, I don't like them very disappointing.
Clear tape one, you'll be all right.
You can't duck it.
So there you go. So what you're looking for, really, with your lanyard, any kind of burn, any kind of tear. Also, another thing that you want to watch for, and I didn't pull this bad boy out yet, but check this puppy out. So there you go. It's a self-retracting lifeline. You guys have any of these?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. So, this is a nylon self-retracting lifeline. This was used by a brickie, right? So mason, that's concrete. What's concrete do cloth when it's on? Yeah, it's acidic, right? So it makes it real brittle. So if you were to fall in this, I guarantee you this would snap. Almost positive, just because of how bad it is. So, something like that, so chemicals on it. That's something you gotta think about as well. Chemicals on it, burns, tears, sprays, cuts, any of that, you wanna watch for it. Now, here's a couple pictures. You can see your rope up here, it's got some frays, kind of fuzz. There's a nylon strap, it's kind of growing it's got some pulled threads on the side. Now there's a question though, and that's, with fall protection, at what point do you replace it? So for example, you may have something where, I always like to say, it's growing hair, makes me jealous. But if you just got a little bit of fuzz coming out, and it's really not, it's just surface,
Is it on the contrast stitching?
There you go. That's where you want to go with it is, what do you think? Let me ask you this. If you ask the manufacturer, hey, should I replace this? What do you think they'd say?
You say, yeah.
They say, yeah. Yeah, they want to sell you a new one, right? Okay, so, yeah, they're going to tell you, yeah, but when do you want to replace it? It's your life, it's your equipment.
When you're gonna come to it.
Yeah.
The moment you question it.
The moment you question it, but here's what I would tell you, is if it's pulling on the stitching, if it's affecting the integrity or the strength of that thing, you need to replace it. So, growing a little fuzz is totally different than pulled threads or stitches or actual frays. If this is my rope to the left right here, I'm replacing that. If that's my nylon strap to the right, I'm replacing that. That's to the point, for me, my comfort level, I'm gonna replace it. So, that would be my advice to you. Alright, so, selecting the right type of lanyard. I know when you guys climb and you're on ropes, you're using the actual lanyard, right? Something like this to the right. What about when you're in the aerial lift? You use this, self-retracting, or do you use this? You use the one on the right. When do you use these on the left?
When we need to be on a leash to get those stuff commitment there.
Okay. Here's a little something that I'd tell you, and this may be something you want to change up. My advice is when you're in aerial lift, I'd use the self-retracting. And here's why. Think about this. You guys have scissor lifts?
Yeah.
You do? Straight up? Okay. Do you tie off the nose?
No.
No, okay.
Well, you were supposed to.
You're supposed to?
Our company says.
Your company says you're supposed to. Okay. If your company says you're supposed to, then you need to. But I would tell you that the manufacturer of scissor lifts does not require you to tie off. The manufacturer, okay? they will not, they don't typically require somebody to tie off. Why? What's the difference?
They got a handrail around it.
Got 32-foot rail around
Okay, so you have a handrail around it. Well, when you're in a boom lift, boomed out, you got a handrail too. Why do you have to tie off there but not here?
Past the wheelbase.
Both can catapult you out.
There you go. So if you're up in a scissor lifted completely vertically, and you hit a pothole or whatever, you're gonna shake. You may tip, but if you tip, it doesn't matter. You're going with it whether you're tied or you're not.
I'd rather be
It's-
untied so I can jump.
It's not gonna do any good, right? However, if you're in a boom lift and you hit a pothole, you hit a rut, whatever, hit a bump, you can catapult, okay? And that can throw you out. So now think about this. I got a 6-foot lanyard on,
I'll take the left around.
okay? So I got this 6-foot lanyard on and I'm tied off. What happens when I put force on this? What happens? What happens to this right here?
Should open.
Should open up, right? This is gonna extend another 3.5 feet. So that's what this is, it's a rip stitch. So it basically just rips and it extends another 3.5 feet. So this 6 feet becomes 9.5 feet. So if I'm tied off to that thing and it catapults me out and this goes 9.5 feet, what's gonna happen to me? I could go over the rail, am I right? And I go over that rail and come down. Okay, depending on where I'm at, I could hit the ground, I could pull that thing down on top of me. Or maybe I don't, but now I'm hanging. Right? Not a good situation no matter what happens. However, if I have one of these and I pull,
It'll stop you before you.
it's gonna stop me before I do anything. Right? So this is actually the best tool to use in an aerial lift, not those. So that would be my advice. Is if you're going to be in an aerial lift, I would definitely use a self-retractor. In an aerial lift, so here's the guy you see to the right. He's tied off. He's got his harness on. Problem is though, he's got it wrapped around the guardrail. Should be connected to the approved anchor point like we talked about before. Not to another lanyard, not to another snap hook, not to a guardrail. On your ropes, double figure 8. That look familiar? Yeah. So you want to check those double figure 8 knots, make sure they're tight, right? Make sure they're good and tight. That look familiar? So there's your carpet pads. And is this what you were saying is a gator, James?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what'd you say? A raven. There you go. Raven. Okay. Not a gator. Raven. Got my wrong animal there. But yeah, you want to protect it from any kind of abrasion, right? And I saw this. You guys are good. At least on that job, you have your carpet down. That's fantastic. Oh yeah.
What building is it?
30 south.
30 south.
30 south.
Now, what I would say though is I would encourage you guys to watch secondary shear points on the way down. So if you got a building where here's your parapet wall, right? And then you have a little bit of a ledge here, and you have your ropes like this, and you're down here, right? You got to watch that second shear point. Yeah. So be careful, with that. And that's something you definitely want to make sure, because I think this is a no-brainer, but some people may forget that second point. So harnesses, getting to the harness part. Obviously, these are back belts. They were outlawed back in '98 because if you fell in something like that, you would jackknife and break your back. You want a full body harness. Everybody I saw out on your job, you guys have those.
Those harnesses, you want to see the labels. We talked about the manufacturer's recommendation or recommended expiration date. We also talked about the proper size for people. You want to make sure that it's rated to hold them. And you want to inspect them before use. You're looking for the same exact things that I talked about before: burns, chemicals, cuts, sprays, anything like that. Can I get 2 volunteers?
Everybody jump for one. Bill, what is it so long?
Oh, I'd like you to, yeah, I'd like you to put it on if you're comfortable with it. If you're comfortable with it. You're not comfortable with it? Why not?
Burned up.
Okay. So, where specifically do you see this going?
There,
Okay.
there.
Yeah, okay. So see, this one, it doesn't really have burns per se, doesn't have like cuts, but it has stress marks in it. This is where metal has pressed against it to the point where it's almost starting to crease it and cut through. So that's a weak point, right?
The lady should have to get it brought to.
So there you go, you got some weaknesses there. So in inspecting this, he doesn't like it, and I would agree. I think this is long past ready for replacement. So you like that one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see that one real quick. Oh, he's all ready to go, man. He's all buckled up.
Well, back money. There's a couple little frays right here, but.
Yeah, okay.
I'm falling. That's it.
Okay, so, with this one. How about this cut right here? Ooh, you got me.
All the way through.
Yeah. That's a big one. How'd you miss that?
Yeah,
I think somebody came behind me.
Right, guy.
That's a pretty fresh cut.
That's it. Yeah, he did that when he was walking by. So I love using this harness because that is such a hard cut to find. A lot of people miss it. But here's what I want to tell you is that these things will cut fairly easy. I don't know how you guys store yours.
In the back of the truck.
You hang them up in the back of the truck. Hopefully they're not like around tools or anything sharp.
We hang them up on fences when we get ready to shop. Most of them.
Okay. What, is there anything sharp back in that truck?
Oh, yeah, toolbox.
Okay.
Tire tool, tire laying on it.
Box knives.
Box knives. There you go. So these harnesses could be perfect one day, and if you store them wrong, the next they could have a massive cut. It happens all the time. People throw them in the toolbox, they put a saw down right on top of it, a knife, something sharp, and it cuts it.
I try not to even put mine on the track.
You
Yeah.
can wear it,
Really
and
want
walk
to store
across the
these.
rooftop and catch something with it, it's just that easy.
You could, yep, absolutely. So you should inspect them definitely each day before use. And here's my advice, okay? Here's my advice, is it's easy to get lost in a harness. Even me, I'm a safety guy, I do inspections all the time on these things, and I'll tell you, for me, it's easy to get lost. So what you need to do is you need to come up with your own system on how you're gonna inspect them. For me, all I do, this is just my way, I do it every single time the same way. I grab the D-ring so that it's facing me, and I'm lefty, so for me it makes sense, I'm gonna go left first, and basically I just, you kind of put it in a U in your hand, and I get down to the legs, and I turn it around, and I go the opposite way. So I'm checking both ways, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and finish up by going around the back side to the left on both sides, and I'm looking all the way. See, I would have caught that right there.
So you already passed it once.
Well, I know, but when I turned it around and came back, I caught it. See, that's the beauty. You gotta go both sides, flip it all the way. And then, so I know I went left, so then I'm gonna go right, and then I do the belt, and then I do the leg. But the other thing is I wanna look at also the buckles and the metal. I don't want any twists or bends in this. I don't want any burrs. I definitely don't want that tongue to be able to slip through, right? You guys ever wear each other's harnesses?
On occasion.
On occasion? How do you know, if you're inspecting a harness, does anybody know a shortcut to know if someone's fallen in before or not?
The indicator strip,
The indicator strip, if it has an indicator?
when the tag come out, and when the tags, if you're falling, you put stress on it, the real warning
Some
tag,
possibly,
You see
yes.
You see the
stitches
stitches would be stretched.
Stitches would be stretched. There's one other way to do it. If you fall in a harness, there's gonna be enough force in that harness where it's going to cause that pin to crimp down on this roller. So if you ever pick up a harness that's not yours or somebody else has worn it, I would encourage you, if it has rollers, just look at it.
That's smart. I never.
So that's what those are for.
Not so much, but yeah, that's it.
That makes you question.
What did you question?
What those are actually.
Why are they on there?
Why are they there?
Holding the strap in the out.
Yeah, to help pull the strap through, right, that's the rope, but that, yeah, they'll sign, so if you ever see that crimp, that's telling you somebody's falling in. So, just a little bit of a
Did he make it?
tip. I don't know. Don't know. So you wanna put these things on and wear them properly, so how do you put them on?
Back of the chest.
You put them on how?
Shoulders first, like a jacket.
Can I come back up to one more time then? Okay, so put it on like a jacket, there you go, so you put it on, basically sling it over your shoulder. There's a few critical places that you wanna adjust, okay? There's three big ones. The three big ones are your chest, your legs, and your D-ring, okay? Now, I would encourage you to check your D-ring first, because if you cinch all this up and then try to adjust your D-ring, you're gonna be in trouble. So where do you want your D-ring? Shoulder blades. What happens if it's too high? Good. Yeah. If it's too high up in the top and you fall, then that thing stretches, it's gonna snap your head forward. If it's too low, what's gonna happen? It's gonna flip you this way, you'll be hanging like Mission Impossible. So you want it to be right in between your shoulder blades. So for James, this thing, he's a little taller than the last guy who wore it. So yeah, right about there. Okay? Now, you can go ahead either way, go ahead with the chest. Okay, where do you want the chest strap to be? Sternum, good. What happens if it's too low? Yeah, it can get too loose this way, right? You want it to be fairly tight. He's modeling it. What if it's too high?
Chokes you out.
It could choke you. I'm telling you, have you ever seen anyone hang in a harness? Like actually hang after they fell? That D-ring is up about the top of your head. This thing will stretch and pull up. And if that thing's here, if your chest strap is up high, it will choke you. So you definitely want that about, right at the sternum.
Taking so long, James?
He's just adjusting, just letting him talk. So now, the last place is your legs. And this is where most people get this wrong, okay? They wear it loose. And the reason why they wear it loose is because it's more comfortable. But here's the problem. You guys know what I just said. This thing pulls up and stretches. It's gonna ride up your legs. Use your imagination. I've heard plenty of stories from people saying they know people that have lost part of their manhood because they fell and it rode too high. So you want those things to be fairly tight. Now, not tight enough to the point where you're losing circulation in your legs, but tight enough to where, it's pretty snug. So what my advice is, what like a manufacturer will tell you, is what you should do is try to put your hand down through there. If you can push it not past your middle knuckles without really straining, then it's good. If you can slide right past your middle knuckles, it's not good enough. You need to tighten it a little bit more. So where are you at? You push through? Yeah. So you need to tighten up a little bit more than that.
No, sit down. That's the problem. That's how you gotta sit down.
That's probably about where you want to be.
You sit down and your pant legs come up to your knees in the dead of winter.
Yeah. And it's I know that it's, your pants are riding and then it's a little bit tighter and maybe not as comfortable, but again, you should be able to work in that without much problem. And if you fall, you'll be glad. So that's the right way where, and then all you do is you just adjust up and just kind of snug it up so don't cut these.
Tape them up. You can tape those up.
All right.
Time up. That's one of them 450 guy harnesses, ain't it?
420. All right, so obviously you want to store it to try to prevent damage. No toolboxes, hang them up. Make sure you can clean them, by the way, if you need to. Just mild detergent's fine. The bosun chairs, you want to inspect those as well. Obviously look at the stitching here. Make sure there's no cuts or anything. Rig the rope properly. Rig the rope properly, right? How do you rig it?
In and out.
How do you rig it?
In and out.
In and out. So if I rig starting on this side and going down, is that okay? No, why?
You gotta follow the node.
Yep, that's right. You gotta follow the groove, right? So make sure you follow your. What happens? What's that?
That's not how you do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through there.
Start right there.
Right, cause you gotta imagine, you got 50 pounds of rope on the way up.
So what happens if you rig it opposite?
That's what made a loud noise.
You're in trouble. That's right. That's right. All right. So yeah, and I was getting pointers from James on this. Locking these off when you're going to lock them off instead of just kind of, instead of just kind of lifting them down and letting this hang. Right?
That's
yeah.
They do the pick off, that's too much when you got the one rope after that twice.
Rack it off twice. Yeah.
Rack it twice.
Every time I go over.
Not racking twice.
That's not bars.
You throw it.
I don't know.
So a couple other things to talk about here. We're running out of time, so I'm just going to skim through and we'll get you out. But if you do fall in a fall protection system, you do wanna, they do say that a competent person has to inspect it. My advice is you send it back to the manufacturer for inspection before you replace it, if you actually shock load the system. This doesn't really, it doesn't necessarily apply to you so much, but it does. I mean, it can, you know, calculating your fall distance, making sure that your system is gonna catch you before you hit the ground. You guys are so high up a lot that I don't think that's gonna come into play much, but,
I got a question.
yes.
How far do you have to fall to hit terminal velocity, to hit maximum speed? Like, some people say 5 stories or above is when you hit maximum speed, but how long does it take? I mean, if somebody was to fall?
Oh, boy, I used to know that, and that's slipped my mind.
1 foot per second, times a second or something like that?
Yeah, there's a calculation for that. And a lot of it depends on the variables. I mean, what kind of wind speed you have,
Right.
you know what I mean?
I've always heard like 5 stories. If 5 stories or higher, chance to hit terminal velocity is pretty much there.
It's like, it's weird, it's like foot per second, per second, per second.
If you fall, you're in trouble. How about
Pretty
that?
much, yeah.
If you fall over 3 feet,
Whoops.
you don't wanna fall. Okay, so has anybody ever heard of suspension trauma?
Yep.
You guys have?
Toxic shock, all that.
Yep. So I got a short video. This is a doctor.
What is suspension trauma? Well, when a person hangs in a harness, they're hanging in an upright position, and their body is dependent, and gravity pulls the blood down. If that occurs for more than 3 minutes, and sometimes within 20 minutes, a lot of changes can occur. These include hypoxia, which is lack of oxygen in the blood, hypoxemia, again, lack of nutrients because the blood is dependent. You can get ventricular fibrillation. You can get syncope. Syncope is where the person passes out, becomes unconscious. And there's also injuries that can occur to the liver and kidneys and other body organs. This is a very serious problem.
So hanging out for a long period of time chokes off your circulation, can cause serious problems, even death. He says 3 to 20 minutes.
A loop in my rope under my feet, put my foot in and stand up. No, you wouldn't. Yeah, I would.
Or just act like you're riding a bike.
I'm just saying I would do it if it happened.
Honestly, what you're saying is a very good idea, and they actually make now, they make rescue ladders that you tie on the same place you have your D-ring, so you tie on here. And, yeah, and they do make some, they make some, they're rescue ladders, so you can unzip here and then connect them and then stand up, but that's the key, is being able to eliminate that choking off. So if you had a rope and you didn't have, like if you have a rescue ladder built in, great. If you don't, getting that rope and tying a knot in there so that you can stand up.
Had to do that before and forgot to land. Yeah. Stand up.
So what happens?
Put that on PNC. Unwrap and rewrap.
Now, you guys also, you two are sprat trained, right? So able to do rescues.
He lost his car just now with that whole harness.
He just got revoked.
He just got revoked.
But,
that's how you learn, you gotta make mistakes.
Yes, you do.
and you were saying, you know, every situation is different.
Everyone is different.
Yeah. So, you know, how long do you think on it, give me some ranges it'd take for you to actually get somebody rescued?
Well, give me a scenario.
Really depends on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how I got access in. If I've got access in, I might be able.
Give me a worst case scenario.
I've gotta go access him and put, you know, he's unconscious and I gotta go get him. And then build a guy wire because his stuff's cut.
How long would that take?
You could be up there, I mean, I don't know, it varies. It really doesn't.
Time really slows down when you're in the middle of a rescue.
Yeah, when you're rescuing somebody, there's so much going on, you really don't have time for air.
The
But
worst-
at the same time, you gotta get them down as quickly as possible with you.
Yeah.
So,
If, like in our situation, like I was telling you earlier, we don't wear the harness, our sweat harnesses. So chances are, if somebody got hung up on a job, I wouldn't go down, I'd probably break into their line and lower them down. Either with a belay system or just change the wheel out completely. And bring them down on the hip somehow. Get a cord and tie a couple pressets on it, put them on a belay system. If they're, like, right over the wall, just go to the belay system and pull them back up. Just, you assess the situation and deal with it the best you can. And if it gets too bad, you just, best equipment you got, you call 911.
Yeah, right. Well, if you get an aerial lift on site,
Aerial lift.
that might be a good fix.
When I lived down in Texas for a while, the guy actually, like he was talking about, flipped out of the lift. He was hung up there for a minute. I don't know, I mean, let's just say an hour. I don't know the full story, but he's hanging and dangling, and his buddy comes down. Oh shit, you all right? Emergency lowers him down. He gets down on the ground, full of toxic shock. He was fine hanging there, but it killed him.
Oh,
Yeah, he, everything's constricted, he's all bunched up, and he's hanging up there for a while, and he wasn't pegging it. Didn't have no rope to stand up on it. You can't pull yourself up like that. And when the guy let him down, it released and all the gas just
Yeah, all
went
the
straight through his heart.
toxins in your blood.
He killed him there right on site.
Yeah, that's sad.
And,
So yeah, so if you are hung, know that it might take them a while to get to you.
Better get
You-
comfortable.
Yep, get comfortable, pedal your legs, tie a knot in your rope, try to relieve some of that pressure. Those are the best things you can do. What'd you say? A note. Tie a note. Yes. You will be missed. Get me down right now. All right, so a couple last things, guys. I know you guys aren't really on construction type sites. You're more on finished roofs. But even if you come across anything that looks like a covered shaft, I would steer clear of it. Hey guys, just a few more minutes, okay? If you come across any kind of covered shaft, I would steer clear of it. I could tell you a story of a time where we investigated a fatality, this company, years ago, when there was a covered shaft like this, and it was actually a 2x4 over a shaft, or not 2x4, plywood that was placed over a shaft like this, and it wasn't secured so that it wouldn't prevent, movement. One of the guys that was working up on the roof, he wore his tennis shoes in and brought his boots in. He changed once he got up there. So he gets up on the roof and he goes to sit down to change his shoes, and he sits down and as you kind of go down and back, it pushed that board off. He fell to his death. So don't trust any kind of covered looking shaft. Don't put any weight on it. Stand on it. Sit on it. Skylights. Do you have skylights where you guys are sometimes?
some places.
Be careful around those. There's a lot of fatalities that happen of people falling through skylights. Are they covered or guarded? No.
They look just like that.
Look like this right here,
Yeah.
but
they don't
without
have
the
a
guard.
on.
Yeah.
I've seen that guard before.
Yeah, there's a lot of fatalities, I'm telling you, where guys have fallen through.
I'm almost sat on one like back when I first started. I pushed down on it and pushed
Well,
like
PNC's
all the way
is,
through. It scared me.
it's like a real hard plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plastic.
I never liked walking on them. We walk on them all the time, not that particular style, but more of the.
Actual glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we do.
You walk on the skylights?
You ain't ever walked on glass before?
Yeah.
Like walking on water? Not on the bubble stuff like
Yeah,
that.
not like that.
Not the bubble ones, they're flat, not the bubble ones. You don't walk on those.
Okay.
The skylights, the glass is flush, it's flat. You walk on it.
The Arts Garden, we walked all over that thing.
The Arts Garden, how about the big box at the, convention center?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, there are some skylights out there that have reinforced systems in them to where they're rated for weight, but there's some that are not. And I would never stand on one unless you're absolutely positive it's rated to withhold weight, because
It's scary anyway.
Look, these got tight when y'all said we walk on glass.
Yeah.
All that flat floor.
you want to keep your materials back from the edge, right? Here you got a parapet wall, so that's no big deal. It's keeping materials back, but even like your buckets and stuff like that, if you're on one of those other roofs, you know, if I know that you have to put it up there in order to get yourself on your chair and then grab your stuff, and that's understandable. But you know, when it's not in use and when you can control it, you want to obviously try to keep it back. Now, tape measure. Yep, you already saw this one.
A freak accident at a construction site today involved a very common construction tool, something you probably have in your own kitchen. CBS 2's Steve Langford reports on a simple delivery that turned tragic.
The truck carrying a load of sheetrock still at the construction site in Jersey City, hours after the truck's operator died right beside his rig, listed as belonging to Living Right Trucking, Inc., the words owned by God added to the side of the truck. 58-year-old Gary Anderson of Somerdale, New Jersey, killed as he was delivering the sheetrock when a tape measure fell off a construction worker's belt 50 stories above, bounced off a piece of equipment near the ground, then struck the truck driver in the head. Police say Anderson was not wearing a safety helmet.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. You don't know what's going to happen ever. Just come in one day and it could be your last.
Juan Bonilla works construction at a site nearby and says a safety helmet would have made all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he would have been hurt maybe in the hospital, but it would have probably saved a life.
One worker here who didn't want to go on camera told me the victim, apparently a very religious man, was in the middle of telling a story and uttered the words, "God is good," the moment right before he was hit and killed. OSHA is investigating the accident, which happened just a few feet from the entrance to a PATH station.
It's very scary. I had no idea that something so small could do so much damage.
Neither the trucking firm nor the construction company would comment on the bizarre tragedy. In Jersey City, Steve Langford, CBS 2 News.
The victim, Gary Anderson, was rushed to Jersey City Medical Center, but died an hour later.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I've seen, on the towers, we do weatherproofing for stuff called butyl, like tar. We used to throw balls at it off the tower, and I've watched guys just toss it off the tower and they go right through the trailer.
Yeah, I see stuff go right through the trailers sometimes. Might drop something.
A wrench. It'll go right through the roof of it and right through the floor of it.
And somebody drop a suction cup off of a building.
Oh boy, what's the name, Matt?
Yeah, what's the name?
Tommy.
BMO.
When I was a rookie, I dropped a pole off of BMO. It hit the top of the BMW. It blew every window of that car out.
What was that guy named used to be the oil over Anthony did the safety work? I mean the oil.
Maxwell.
Hey, Maxwell, he dropped a pin off of his drive, and his pin fell off the drive when he found it was in the middle of the top of his truck.
I seen somebody drop a
truck.
Pin straight, like
It went straight to his truck.
I seen somebody drop a full 5-gallon bucket, window cleaning tools from like 20 stories. Yeah, the bucket was exploding. Sure stuff like two blocks. You found like plastic from the bucket.
Up in South Bend.
28 floors.
Really?
Yeah, hit the top of that BMW.
So do you guys ever tether your tools?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
We're supposed to every building.
Depends on what property manager wants you to.
Yeah.
Or what we're hanging about.
Scott wants us
But
to.
you had
hanging
tool
tools. Yeah, we have those.
Yeah.
Red flags.
And what do you tether? You tether your squeegee,
Everything in
your
your
bucket.
Your mop. Our cups are already tied off, so that's our squeegee and our mop.
Yeah. Good. Well, man, that probably saved a life, honestly, just doing that, because.
Yeah, people drop stuff, don't they?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Hey, where's your 18 at?
It's in my bucket.
Which one you doing?
The other thing you can do to try to protect people below is trying to barricade off the sidewalk right below. Obviously, yeah. Obviously, you can't shut the whole sidewalk down, but at least get them right out from under you is, you know.
Yeah, I think this right here, I think that just pretty much shows awareness, because if somebody was to drop something, it's not gonna stay inside that cone.
Not necessarily, so. But at least it's something, you know.
It's more of awareness.
It's more of awareness.
Hey, we gotta call you out on your picture. Yeah. Somebody's line's a little short.
Oh, rookie.
Uh-oh.
Who was on the right in that picture?
That's Pat.
Is that Pat?
That's
Go.
Pat.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it is. Them
That's
other
on the-
ropes are butlers.
That's on the tower part. Pat's on the smaller part.
Those
That's
are
the
blue
tower's
ropes.
entryway. That was
And that's Marine's rope.
yours, Mike's, or
Mine was the
Bill's.
first.
Well, those are blue, the ones on the ground are green, so the green ones are Mike, the blue, who's got the blue ones? They're all color coded.
Are you sure? It looks like there's cones down there. That's on the north part. The north side door. It is on the north end. That's
North part,
Jerry and
entryway.
Pat. Look at the cone on the
The
south
entryway
side.
right there.
It sounds
That's half
about,
the cone.
let's just go with Pat, it's Pat's fault.
Yeah. You hear that, Pat?
Yeah. Pat, Patrick.
All right, guys. I got a few more pictures here just for fun, just showing some
Wow.
unsafe fall protection issues.
Don't walk up in that top.
is that a water tower?
That's a church dome.
That looks like a church dome. There you go.
Bye-bye, boss.
Look at this guy.
Oh, man.
That's basically, yeah, that's a pipe. They ran a lanyard up through the roof and tied it to a pipe to serve as like an anchor point. Here you can see a guy's got a manila rope. That's what he's using for his lanyard.
No.
That's what's that.
And you got all these guys all tangled up. Look at that. One guy falls, you got, it's gonna be like dominoes. And there's the grand finale right there.
Wow. Hey, sometimes the job's gotta get done. That is what it consists of right there.
And it won't be done by me.
Everybody sign in?
I respectfully decline.
You didn't sign?
I didn't sign
Yeah, hey, real quick though, why don't you just go up and lean over the rail?
A lot of guys want to cut corners.
What's that?
We done some crazy. I'm telling you, like I said, we.
Oh, not only that, but it's louder leaning up against the
But we done, we didn't have, like right now they got two of, we didn't have no safety, but we didn't have no policy, we weren't wearing none of that. You know what I'm saying? It was just.
Get a lot of them when they come through.
Yeah.
They got in the way.
Yeah, so we back, we didn't do that, we didn't have none of that.
That's a couple parties.
None of that. We lucky to be
I'm
alive.
glad you made it through. All right, guys. Thank you. You appreciate it.
I'm just.
Harry.
Hey, Coach P, right here. And give y'all, you got to get that. That's what got, yeah, I'm all right.
It's just right here. But what you wanna do too though, is, see how you just did that right there? Sometimes you go over the wall, and if you got this, not like that, like right there, and allow this to slide down, and then you put your body weight on this, it's gonna lock it. And now you got your whole body weight on all of these, which is pinching all of these, making them tighter, and now that rope's stuck. See how that is? Now your body weight is pushing this up against that, you can't get that undone. So you either gotta have somebody up top, grab your hand, and while they're holding this rope for you, you gotta lift up and get that
Yeah,
unstuck.
cause you can't tie a knot in it.
Yeah, or you gotta tie that knot when stand up in your rope.
But you have to do it in your safety, cause you can't do it on this one. Cause
Right.
you're gonna pull that down.
Exactly.
And then you got so much, you got weight on that one, but you need safety, it stretches, so you gotta.
That right there, this next season will happen to at least
That happens
half
to
of
me
us.
sometimes.
I mean, it just, I don't care how much experience you have, it's bound to happen to fix it. It's just a matter of knowing the safest way to get out of it.
And them guys that got long hair.
So how do you guys normally do it? You just go with the knot?
Well, normally when I say it, I mean, I'm strong enough where I can still hold on to the wall and just lift myself up and just make it jab. But, a lot of people has to call for somebody else. Hopefully someone's telling them.
I double racket, so I don't
Yeah,
Show
just.
me double racket.
go down too much.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I don't double racket.
Well, actually, I don't use that bottom bar. I come up this way.
And then it goes like this, and don't let go.
Yeah.
No, that'd be clear with it.
Yeah, I never let that thing go. Cause I've been working, you know, and some guys, man, they just get in a speed mode like this, and they're different
Keep up with people.
so then you got this, and you do that, and you go to work, and then, what just happened? My leg hit, man, oh, shit.
That's why I was telling you when
Yeah,
Mike was
yeah.
hanging, if he didn't lock off, that was potentially what could have happened.
I'm gonna tell you, you ruined a pair of perfectly good shorts. Every time. Every time. I don't care how ready you are. But then, you know, with those scrap things, there's a whole different sending device anyways. You can use industrial descendants. You can A-sand or B-sand, that's just a break-in. You just send it on, you can't find it yet. But then, a lot of guys, it takes time and they don't like to do it. If you wanna do that, bring it home. You know, you light it off. It's just like when you do, then like that. But when you're so high up, man, all this whole blade weighs so much, and it pulls you down, so it's, when you get lower and lower, this rope gets lighter. And then eventually it's like, oh, it's not coming. Yeah, if you ever wanted to try that again, when we get together and actually do a demonstration.
Yeah, I'm gonna start coming out to get jobs.
Make sure you call us so you can get safe. No, just kidding.
Call your safety. Be there when I get there.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that one. Well, Kevin, we appreciate it.
All right, James. Thanks, man.
If there's anything else you can think of, you know, once you do visit our job sites and everything, if there's something else you need me to bring in or something,
Yeah.
let me know. I mean, if we don't have it to, you know, give it to you, then we can at least bring it in, let you use it through a session or whatever.
Cool.
Or if we need to bring a board in or whatever.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.